All right, guys, we made it. We are in the Faroe Islands. We just left the ship and we're cycling out towards the campsite, which is on the east side of Torshaven. Probably the first velomobile to ever visit the island. I haven't gotten a confirmation of that, but I'm pretty confident that perhaps nobody's ever been here. Got a group of cyclists I'm with, 6 or 7 different cyclists from the Netherlands and Germany. You know the way, right? It's pretty much stay right on the ocean, huh? Yeah. And it is 5 minutes after 11, and it's still light out. Of course, we're only 1 week away from the solstice, so quite a lot of sunshine. One of the locals told me that the sun comes back up at like 2:30 in the morning, and I think we're at like 62 degrees north here. You don't even need headlights right now. I mean, I had them on just for visibility, but you don't even really need headlights. It's fantastic. And I was really worried because it was super windy when we were on the ship. But here we're kind of protected by the mountain, and it's really not that windy right here. When I get out, away from these buildings, we'll see how things are, but so far so good. Hill here. A lot of hills at this place. The people that were on the bike or on the boat, their bikes are loaded down too, so they're going to be slow as well. They're all cycle camping, so probably we'll end up maybe staying together. We'll see. Got a big truck here. Let him go past. I'm going to sign off for now. We should be at the campsite here in just a minute because it's only about 2 kilometers down the road. Well, we camped for the first night, and it's really windy. Obviously, we're right against the sea, as you can tell. And but the Quest here is kind of a windbreak. Prevents rain and wind from getting underneath that tent, that rain cover on that tent. So that worked out. But see the view out here. Pretty incredible. Right on the other side of this hill. Whew, look at that. Black lava rock. Right there. That's the campsite. It's actually the only campsites here in Torshaven. Still considering what I'm going to do. Tomorrow, perhaps, I'm going to break camp, depending on the weather and the winds and things, and head over that way, where that car's coming from. It's about 600 meters of climbing. It's about 40 kilometers away. The distance doesn't scare me, but the climbing does. But I think I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try it. Well, good morning. So my microphone broke, so I'm back to using the mic on the phone. I hope you can hear it okay. It's the first morning here in the Faroes, and it was raining, and windy pretty much all night, or at least what I remember. And then the sun came out just a little bit, it's peeking through the clouds, so I figured I better go get some food and some breakfast. Or some food for breakfast. So, just to give you an idea of prices, I got a big thing of orange juice. I got 5 bananas, and I got 2 Danishes, and that was 78 Danish kroner. I think 100 kroner is $15. So did I just pay like $12 for this? $11 maybe. I don't have Wi-Fi now, so I have to go back to the campsite and figure out the exchange rate. It's the same exact exchange rate as Denmark. The Danish kroner and the Faroe kroner are 1-to-1. They have their own bills, but they use the same coins, from what I understand. But I'm down here in the harbor, in the marina where we arrived last night, and you can see behind me some of the old buildings. I think that's actually the Capitol building that is right behind me on the end there. I think it's one of the smallest national Capitol buildings in the world. Well, left the site and started climbing immediately. And now, I mean, the gearing is pretty good, but it's funny. You can never have low enough gears, and you can never have high enough gears with a Velomobile. There are parts of Denmark where I wish I had a higher set of gears, so I could go faster. But with all this weight, probably not a good idea. What would have been more helpful is to have a smaller front chainring right now. Everybody's waving, everybody's smiling. They've never seen such a thing here. Alright, leveled out a little bit. That's good. I think I'm going to turn my light down because it tends to dazzle drivers in the dark. Well, it's gonna be as good as it can get. Here we go. 3 kilometers. The odometer says 1386.1. Turn on my headlights. God, I pray I don't get hit. I got 2 lights on in the back, and I got my full headlights on. Pretty much taking the whole lane. That way they're forced to pass me and not try to squeeze in between an oncoming car. That's really what caused a lot of people to get injured on bikes. If you ride all the way to the right, you're inviting the drivers behind you to try to squeeze in between you and an oncoming car, and they sideswipe you. So instead, take the whole lane. And if they slow down, they slow down. But it is what it is. It's pretty warm in here. It's a slight uphill grade. I'm doing 20 right now. That was a close pass. I'm about halfway through it. Yeah, we're moving. Doing 20 still. Yeah, he's going around. Woo! You only live once, right? Uh-oh. I just lost my headlights. That is not good at all. What a time for that to happen. I'm trying to fumble and plug in this other battery I have. I charged it on the boat. I guess it didn't get a good charge. We're coming up on the end anyway. All right, we're coming to the end, folks. Took me 9 minutes and 30 seconds to get through it. Woo! Man, I'm glad that's over. Woo, wow. And it's bright. I'm gonna pull over here. Wow. Well, first tunnel down. Can't say I really enjoyed that. Oh. So, hopefully the next ones are not as sketchy and the battery doesn't die halfway through. Man, that was horrible. Well, I just made it through this tunnel. 6 kilometers almost. And with no wind at the bottom, I hit 97 kilometers an hour, and I could have probably hit 120 easy. With no wind, the bike was super stable, smooth. It definitely would have topped out probably 110, 120. There was such a grade going down, obviously undersea tunnel like this. You see the water behind me. Of course, on the other side, I had to contend with the uphill, and I had to push the bike for about 1 kilometer. In case you want to share in my misery, this is a big hill, but I'm not even sure it's as big as the first hill I reached in Iceland. I've stopped already about 10 times, but 3. I can see the top. 4. Might go to this other side. I think it's steeper on this side of the mountain than it is the other. I looked at the terrain map. I'm going to camp here for 2 nights. I'm not doing this again tomorrow. But it does not look as steep coming back. That's a good thing. The sheep are up there yelling at me, telling me to keep going. Before I went into the long tunnel, and there were sheep on the road. In the middle of the road. And I'll be honest, I was worried at one point. There was a couple rams, I was worried that they were going to charge me and run into the Velomobile. I keep trying to downshift. I keep looking for this extra gear and it's just not there. Man. Well, I just finished definitely the most challenging climb I've ever done with this bike. I think it was about 500 vertical meters. Now I'm going down the other side, and it took me probably 40 minutes to ascend it because I was stopping pretty much every 100 meters, 150 meters. But that's okay, I made it over, and I think that this side is not as steep. I hope it's not, because tomorrow I'm going to come back, and it would, yeah, whatever. No pain, no gain. I read that somewhere. A minute ago, I was in the tunnel and I really let it rip. I got the bike up to almost 100. I didn't even realize how fast I was going. The bike easily would have done 110, 120, but I started slowing down. There was no wind in the tunnel. Here, I have to be careful. Once I get above about 60, if I get any sort of wind, man, it's really sketchy and it cause the bike to wreck. So I really got to watch my speed. I've thought about making a parachute, which is something that people actually do with these Velomobiles. They buy or they make a parachute that they can deploy right here over the shoulder and keep the bike from getting up to its terminal velocity, so to speak. Because this one, I mean, I don't know how fast it would get. Doing about 70 right now. There's no wind, so it's okay. I got good brakes on this thing. They're 90mm brakes, but they have a limit. And once they get too hot, you start to get brake fade, and then they don't work anymore. So I think before I go to Iceland, I'm going to make a parachute. I've got some parts, some stuff in my Velo I can make it with. I'm doing 75 now. I'm going to slow down here. I got a turn in front of me.
Yeah, it's much more gradual on this side. The other side was extremely steep, maybe 15%. But that's pretty much what I'm going to face in Iceland too.
In 550 meters, continue straight.
I don't really need to carry all this speed because at the bottom here there's a village and I'm not going to blow into the village. I mean, I think the speed limits in the village are 50 anyway, or maybe even 30, so yeah. Woo!
Now continue straight on Gilhavenger 11.
I'm hungry. Find some food and find my campsite for the night. Still pretty early. The sun doesn't go down till 11, so I got plenty of time to explore today. Oh man, this is beautiful. It's a really beautiful church here. Yeah, see, I start to feel the brake fade, and I can smell the brakes. I gotta slow down. I can smell the brakes. They're really hot, man. Definitely gonna have to make that parachute. I'm gonna use some shopping bags to make it. Stop at the bottom here and let these brakes cool down. I've also got wheel covers on this bike. I'm thinking that maybe I should take them off. Actually, I'm gonna stop right here. There's not much left to the bottom, but man, those brakes are super hot. You can really feel them. So we made it. But it really wasn't that long of a downhill, and you see what happened. I could feel in the brakes they were just starting to go, and I can smell it also, so I'll figure that out. So good morning. Today is Tuesday, and yeah, left the campsite this morning. I did cheat with some friends that I made, German friends, Philip and Leonie, and I rode with them in their car. And it's a wonderful rental car, as you see. But it's what's available, and it's cheap. But we are near the town of Bor, and pretty incredible background. We have really good weather, nice and sunny today. We're going to do some hiking today out to a waterfall. It's evidently one of the nicest waterfalls here on this western tip of the island of Vágur. This is like west of the airport if you're looking at the map. On the other side of this mountain is a town, a village that was cut off from the rest of the islands until 2004. And in 2004 they finished a tunnel through the mountain so that now you can drive there. So our plan is to hike over the mountain, go see the town, and then hitchhike back through the tunnel to the other side. Good morning. It's a Wednesday. It's 5:15. I wanted to get an earlier start this morning, but the sleeping bag was a little bit too warm. So I just packed up and left camp. I'm the only one awake. I'm trying not to make too much noise, but last night nobody else seemed to care when I was trying to go to sleep, so I'm gonna try to get over this mountain and through these tunnels before the traffic comes out in the morning, which I think should be possible. I think that the climb that I have in front of me is more gradual than it was on the other side. So perhaps I'll be able to cycle continuously up. If not, I'm gonna get out and push. And then the tunnels are a different story. So far this side has been more gradual. It does increase in grade up around that curve. And there's only been one car that went past. So far so good. It's about 5:30. Probably halfway up. Well, I made it to the top. And I didn't need the ambulance. They weren't for me. This road's already gotten a little busy, but all the traffic is coming towards me because they're going to the airport. Yeah. They're all going to the 7:30 flight. I haven't seen that many cars coming the other way. I think only that ambulance and one more. So it's 10 minutes to 6 and I made it to the top of this hill. And I'm gonna try something. I last night made up a parachute system using some shopping bags and some pieces of my wheel covers. And I'll get it laced up and show you what it looks like. Alright, well here we go. Test number 1. It's 5 minutes to 6. Concentrate on the road. See that? This road gets really steep here. Velomobile, a buddy of mine recommended keeping the speed down to 20. Fortunately, I'm just gonna go down at this speed, which is quite boring. But we stay alive. See the hear that front right brake making noise. Must already be getting pretty hot. Yeah, that parachute probably needs to be about 3 times the size back there to really have much of a difference. They have these exercise parachutes and I was going to buy one. They weren't expensive, they're only like $10, but it was another pound of weight I'd have to carry. You know, I've got like 12 pounds of food sitting here next to me right now, so 1 pound of a parachute wouldn't have made much of a difference, but I didn't bring it. So, sun's peeking out a little bit. It's really pretty. Yeah, the only traffic I've seen has been these cars that are going to that airport because there's a flight that leaves at 7:30. So if I figure that flight leaves at 7:30, that means that the other people that arrived probably going to be coming down this road about that time, 7:30, 8 o'clock. There's some taxis heading out. And, yeah, 7:30, 8 o'clock. So it'll probably be getting busy on this road in this direction in about an hour and a half. Well, made it through the tunnel, along with the undersea tunnel. I had to, worst experience of my life. I built up a lot of speed going into the tunnel. I was afraid to even look down at the speedometer, but I was shaking like crazy, just terrified that something was going to let loose. Got to the bottom, tried to carry the speed, and my worst fears were confirmed. It was actually a longer grade on this side than it was the other. So even though I was going quite fast down into the tunnel, I slowed down really fast.
and I had to get out and push the Velomobile almost 2 kilometers through the tunnel. Thankfully, there wasn't that much traffic. It was just all these taxi cabs coming back from the airport dropping these people off. I had my rear light turned on. I had my regular lights turned on. Just glanced over my shoulder, make sure that they were going, you know, across the center line. Would not recommend it. I've got 3 or 4 tunnels in Iceland to contend with. So, wow. But they're not undersea tunnels. The problem with this one was obviously it's like a bowl, and what goes down must come up. So I'm through that. I have a 1 kilometer tunnel, which is not too bad. It's pretty flat. And then I have a 3 kilometer tunnel close to Torshaven, and I think I'm gonna blast through that one pretty fast because I was only doing 20 when I was going through it the other day, which meant that it was an uphill grade. So if it's a downhill grade, I should be able to get, you know, 45, 50 through it, no problem, be through it just in a couple minutes, and maybe even keep up with traffic. So the parachutes are working. I'm going 53 now, but I would be going a heck of a lot faster if not for them. They're keeping me from accelerating. It's great. I wish they were bigger, but they're certainly helping. All right, I'm in the 3 kilometer tunnel, and I was right. It's a little bit of upgrade when I first started, but now it's completely down. So I'm in good shape. I'm doing about 35. A lot better than when I came through it the first time, because I was climbing this hill. Now I'm descending. I'm in my high gear, so doing okay. Doing about 45. I think the speed limit in the tunnel is 60. Just coasting now. Not pedaling at all. Doing 50. Guy behind me is not trying to pass, so we're in good shape. And I'm done with the tunnels here. Woo! All right. Here we are. Feel a lot better now. Woo! So if you come to the Faroe Islands with a bicycle, if you want to take those tunnels, you're allowed to do it. But I'll tell you, that 3 kilometer tunnel going north is hairy, and the undersea tunnel is terrifying. It levels out flat here in about another 300 meters. Doing 91 at the bottom of that hill. I'm just coasting. Carried this speed for quite a while. Technically, I guess I was speeding there. Sorry. Still coasting, doing 60. Once I get to about 50, I'll start pedaling. Wonderful, wonderful coasting. All the way along the coastline here, coming back into Torshaven. Looks like there's storm clouds behind me too, so I got lucky there. I left at the right time. This road is super busy. I guess something like, I think 50,000 people live on the islands. Half of them live in Torshaven, so shouldn't be surprised. Well, I'm back in the capital city of Torshaven, and beautiful day. Sun's out. I got here at 9 o'clock. I left at 5, so it took me 4 hours. But I stopped at a gas station and had a coffee, and I sat there for about 45 minutes, rested my legs. I think I'm gonna park the bike and push it up to this cathedral up here. It's pretty steep. I'm not gonna try to cycle up there. I might end up breaking the chain. But beautiful place here. If you come to Faroe, don't bring a Velomobile. It's just not the right vehicle. Everywhere there's a hill. Everywhere. Okay, so I'm here at a really beautiful church here in the center of the town in Torshaven. So I'm gonna walk up and have a look. And the Velomobile stays here. Yeah! So it's Wednesday and it's around 10 minutes after 6 and the ferry is here. The Norona has shown up from Denmark. It came back for us. It's a good thing. And we're sitting here in the line kind of waiting to load onto it. They're still offloading all the other vehicles. So you can see people standing on the rear deck that are going with us to Iceland. I'm down inside the Velomobile here, staying warm and dry. It's raining slightly here, drizzling, so I'm trying to keep things dry inside the bike and put the cover on. So we will be on our way shortly to Iceland.